All right, to start off, this is the canvas where you can see all of the new changes that you'd have. So if we were to build the view in Canvas, you'll see that it is on first view. I can change this to become second, and it automatically updates in the canvas. And these are the tabs, like the tabs that you would regularly see in an app like Instagram, where it has like the home tab and the settings tab and the other tabs as well. Right now we have two tabs that are automatically set to first and second with a circle and a square as an icon. However, we would like it to be the home page and the settings view, at least for now. So let's at least change it to be, or sorry, this is the text. Let's change the text for the tab inside. It's a tab item, so inside of it has a VStack, so it's right on top of each other. I'll talk about what VStacks are later. But let's have home. And the image. There's an app called SF Symbols that Apple creates as a resource bank for all the images that they use in their standard user interfaces. So let me pull that up right now. This is what you see if you were to download SF Symbols. You can download this if you were to go on their website to their developer website. I want to find home. And there's different types of home. There's a dot fill, which is just a filled in color. For now, I will use the standard house. And I will have house. However, you might notice that nothing will pop up. It might actually give me an error. That's because we also need to add a system name. And what this does is it tells the computer in the code that we are pulling this image called house from SF Symbols with the system because SF Symbols is also something made by Apple, so all of these are interrelated, interconnected. And there's already one. If we were to call this one settings, this second tab settings, as you can see, they have automatically changed here in the canvas. There's already an image called gear that will give us the regular settings icon. Right now we see second view, but we would like it to connect it with a different view that would show the home page. So let's go ahead and make a new file, and it would be a SwiftUI view. Let's call it home page. All right. So the home page, as once again, will have the canvas setup. It will show hello world. This is what you should see because this is the standard one that Apple puts for you when you create a new file. Let's change it to hello, and you'll see that it automatically changes. So going back to the VStack that you had noticed in the content view, what a VStack basically does is stack a bunch of items. Sorry, let me tab this first. A bunch of items vertically on top of each other. So I could also add another text called, let's say, buy. And it's right underneath it. And if I were to add another one, like neuro, it'll right be on top. So the VStack orders the elements based on what order you have coded it in. And so V is for vertical. There's also an H stack, so if I were to change it to become H, you'll notice that all three of them have become right next to each other, and it's still in the same order, left to right, like top to bottom, like the way you have coded it. So the H stack is for the horizontal stack. It stacks elements horizontally. And the maximum number of elements you can have inside one of these groups is 10. And it's also not good practice to have so many elements inside one group anyways, so you would probably want to put it in different views and restructure your code. So let's change it back to a VStack, and I'll go ahead and get rid of these two. There's also a ZStack, actually. A ZStack, what it does is overlays things. It either puts elements behind or in front or whatever you want it to do. Just based on the order that you have given it. Right now, we'll only be doing VStacks and HStacks. We'll be touching ZStacks later. So for this, in the home page, you'll notice that you don't have the tabs underneath. That is because this is only the home page. This is not in the content view. So if we were to go back to content view, you'll see that it is not showing the neuro that we have in the home page. Let me resume this. It still doesn't show it. And the reason why it doesn't show that is because we don't have it connected to the home page yet. So if you wanted to connect it and link it, so you have home page, you'll notice that it automatically changes to neuro, which is what we see in the home page. And the reason why it changes to become neuro and no longer second view is because we have it now linked to the home page rather than having it show a text. What shows up in this tab will be whatever you have in the home page. If I were to click on settings, you'll see that it's still second view because I don't have another view that I've linked it to. I'm going to leave this as is for now. Oh, also one thing, the tag just shows you which tab that you're currently on. But I'm going to leave this here for now, and we'll do more of this later next week. So if we go back to home page, I will also resume the canvas. I'll just change it to neuroscience, so it'll automatically update in the canvas. So in the home page, what we usually have is a title called something like dashboard or home, or maybe it displays the date of the day, your day of the day. So what we would do is we would first put this VStack inside a navigation view. And a navigation view is a view that you would navigate to when you click on I would say like a button or a link or whatever you have it as. But so this navigation view shows the text neuroscience. Once again, I'll resume it. A nifty thing in Xcode in this platform is rather than having to indent every single one of them, you can highlight all 3 of these lines and press tab once, and it'll indent all 3 lines for you. So yeah, always make sure to have your code neatly structured so you can see everything. And so we'll go ahead with creating the navigation bar title. This is the title for the whole navigation view. So let's say we want to have it display the date, September 22, 2020. And you'll see automatically updates right there. And naturally and automatically it's bolded and large because this is the standard one that Apple uses. If you were to go into your Messages app on your iPhone or any other app that Apple created, you'll see that, for example, Messages has this big bolded title, Messages, in the top of the app. That exactly matches what we see here, because this is all the standard things that Apple provides for us. We don't actually even have to specify which fonts we want to use. So we want to have this navigate to a new page. Let's say we wanted to navigate it to, I will create this file for now just as a test, right? And let me go ahead and put this view as test. And I want the text neuroscience to navigate and to link to the new file that we just created, the new view that we just created. So what we have to do is add a navigation link. The navigation links are just the regular links that you would see like on Google or anything else that actually link you somewhere. So we want it to link to the destination test. And notice before I had this, it gave me an error. Xcode tells you what errors while you're coding so that you don't forget something and crash the program. So we needed to have a destination. Otherwise, the link doesn't know where to go. And if I were to resume the canvas, you'll see that it changes to become blue. The color of the font is now blue. That's because it's been converted to a link. If I were to go on live preview, I am using Xcode 12, so my live preview is at the top. For those of you who have Xcode 11, your live preview will be a play button on this side. So live preview basically allows you to interact with the app that you have created within the canvas. And you see that we have navigated to the test page, the test view. And we can go back. SwiftUI automatically has this coded for you. We actually didn't create a back arrow. So that's something, that's something nifty that SwiftUI does. It automatically codes a lot of things for us so we don't have to put it in our code. It has already the user interfaces, the friendly ones, built in for us. That's also one reason why we chose to use SwiftUI instead of Java, because in Java you would have to code all of those things yourself, and it's easier for those of you who are just beginning to learn how to code, who don't have any experience, to use SwiftUI, because SwiftUI is pretty intuitive. So it navigates automatically to the test file that we have just created. But what if I wanted to add an image right next to the text? Well, we would need an H stack, a horizontal stack. So let's go ahead and make one. I will have an H stack instead. And let's go ahead and do image. System.name. Remember, we're using SF symbols. You can always import your own image, but I find that it's easiest to use the standard ones provided because you don't have to upload it into this project if you just use the ones on SF symbols. And they do have a lot of cool images that we can use. So let's use a thermometer, for example. I happen to know that there's already one called thermometer. But if you wanted to explore other ones, there's also one called thermometer.sun. It just adds a sun right next to it. There's a lot of other ones that you can explore. We'll just be using thermometer for now. So notice that I added to the left of the text because it's inside this H stack and it's not behind the text. If I wanted to change the size of the image, right, I would change the frame. However, you might not. SF symbols is slightly different, so you would actually you would treat this image as text. But for now, we'll go ahead with frame, and we can do a width of, let's say, 50 pixels and a height of 100 pixels. And you'll see that when I typed in 50, the image automatically separated by 50 pixels with the text. That's because the frame of this has automatically changed to be 50 on this side and then 50 on the other side as well. It's now got a width of 50. 25 on this side, but like a total width of 50. You don't see any change in terms of the height because we don't have anything on top or bottom. I can actually add, let's see, a text high, and you'll see, this is in an H stack. Anyways, this isn't an H stack, but if you were to be in a V stack and if you were to put a text on top or below it, you'll see that the spacing has been enlarged by 100 pixels. Right. Yeah, so the image also links you to the test page because it's inside the navigation link. And both the image and the text, whichever one you click on, will bring you to the destination test. So what if we wanted to make this text larger? Let's say it's .font and .title, right? It'll automatically make it big. These are the standard ones that Apple provides you. You can see a lot of different ones that SwiftUI provides as well. If you were to just do a dot, you'll see that you have caption or footnote or headline. Let's go ahead with headline. And it's smaller than the title, but it's actually bolded like a regular headline would be. If you wanted to make it not bolded, and if you wanted to leave it at this standard size for the headline, you would have .font weight, and you could do .bold, for example. So bold makes it bold. I mean, it's already bold. But if we wanted to make it light, there's a .light. So it makes it light compared to the regular font weight that it would have in a headline. So these are just like things that you could do to actually like customize your text. These can also be accessed in this sidebar called the Utilities panel. What this does is instead of having to code it like what we just did, I can automatically change it to be, let's say, a sub headline. And so it just shrank. Let's make it a large title. So it's going to be really big. You can change all of these in the Utilities panel on the side, as well as the alignment without actually having to code it. But for our purposes, we'll be usually using the coding part instead, the editor instead of the Utilities panel. I'll go ahead and change it back to headline, and I'll leave it as is with the font weight that it has regularly. Yeah, so if we go back to content view, you'll see now that we're still in live preview, by the way. Live preview, to know that you're in it, you'll see that you have the stop button there to stop the live preview. If we were to go in, we'll be going into test because it links to the test page that we've just created. And if we were to go back into settings, we don't have it linked to anything, so it still shows the regular second view that was already provided for us. If we go back to home, you'll see that you can also click on the image. It'll give you the test view again, once again.